All right. Hello and welcome, DGH fans. We are back for another DGH paranormal experience, 1910 Gila Jail, Jason Part 2.
Yep.
I am so excited for this one. We have footage that we are going to show you for the first time after the live stream investigation ended that many of you joined us for. Jason and I stuck around. We turned off the lights and we continued to investigate, and the footage we captured, I'm telling you, is going to be some of the most incredible this channel has had. I can't wait to show it to you. We will certainly not only examine the evidence, carefully scrutinize each and every piece and try to determine, is this something that is paranormal, or perhaps is it something that could be scientifically explained away?
Yep.
Joining us tonight, the two doctors of the paranormal, Dr. Jason, I'm Dr. Chad. Let's welcome on the queens of the paranormal. Let's see if we can get them on here. We have our DJ skeptic, Jamie Ryan, and my lovely wife, Sarah. Ladies, say hello.
Hello. Hi.
All right. Very good. You guys are going to be managing the chat and along with a few surprises along the way. So let's go ahead and get you off the screen. But also, we have a special guest joining us tonight. We are super excited to introduce Vinny, also known as Vin. Vin is from the paranormal group. And just to introduce him a little bit, Vin, before you say hello, Vin was our docent for the evening at the 1910 Gila Jail. His group, the paranormal group, not only sells some of the incredible gear that you will see on this episode, but also is the main source for booking some of these investigations, including the 1910 Gila Jail. Vin from the paranormalgroup.com, Ghost Hunters Outlet, and the Ghosts of Globe Paracon that we're going to talk about a little bit later on in the episode. Vin, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you very much, guys. Hi, everybody.
And just to give a little peek behind the curtain without disclosing too much, Vin is an absolute badass of the paranormal. I had sent him an email asking if he would be gracious enough to come on. He takes the time to send me an email back and say, hey, I've got some stuff going on. I need to go get checked out by a doctor. But yes, I'm going to try and be there. Sent the email first. And as a doctor, when patients tell me that, I lose my mind. I absolutely lose my mind. As a paranormal investigator, Vin, I love it. Your heart's definitely in the right place. So we're excited to have you on. We are going to show some evidence coming up here shortly. We're going to bring Vin on and see if, get his take on this, Jason, and see if it's something, Vin, that you have seen in the jail before. Maybe you can explain away some of the sounds that we hear, some of the things we capture. So we're super excited to have you. Vin, we're going to put you back in the weight room for now, but it's going to be a good time.
Yep. Consistent with our approach from a scientific standpoint, we try and, see if we can validate or debunk any of the evidence we get. So having someone that's been there, seen it, maybe those are sounds he's familiar with that are new to us. So we'll see what he thinks of the evidence.
Right. Now, this part, for those of you joining us live right here and now, please feel free, type a message there in the comments. We want to have your engagement as we're going along. And of course, we'll feature one comment. Last week, we had a lucky commenter who won a lovely DGH mug and did get shipped out in the mail. And we'll be giving away another one today.
Yep. So again, for those of you who aren't joining live, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an event like this, so you can be part of the activity and the experience. So we want your input. We want to see what you think. It helps make our investigations better. So
it truly does. We've had some fantastic comments that not only point us to items that we've missed during an investigation, but also some things that call attention to leading us to debunk other things as well. So we certainly do appreciate that. Like Jason said, if you're not already doing so, subscribe, like this video, turn on your notifications. As you can see in this season 2, we've had a theme and we're going to continue this. We will be going live each time we have an investigation. You are going to join us live for that investigation. And then we're going to follow it up with this paranormal experience where we bring you entertainment, community, camaraderie, something that's been missing in the paranormal community. And we're going to try and make this your paranormal home.
Yep. And of course, if you see something that deserves a yellow card, comment on it.
Oh boy. Yeah. Jason certainly does stand at a yellow card for his whisper a couple episodes
Chad's
ago.
got to catch up.
Yeah, exactly here. So actually, no, I'm not going to catch up on a yellow card. I don't know what the hell I'm saying. Jason, let's transition just a little bit into this first clip that I'm going to show you. So this experience that you will have tonight is darker. It is scarier than part 1. If you happen to have the opportunity to wear headphones, there are sounds that you will hear. If you can be in a dark room, it's going to enhance your viewing experience. Now, this type of investigation, there are times when we sit in silence, and we have edited this for you, but it doesn't always bode well for streaming a live investigation, right? So we won't always do this, but like I mentioned before, we turned off the cameras to the live stream, and that's where we're going to see this. And sometimes, Jason, when you and I are not getting evidence, or we're not getting things coming through, we'll change up our tactic and just sit in silence and see if maybe we're spooking spirits, or simply they don't like listening to me blabber on. And sometimes that can stir things up a little bit.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. So I think the stage is set.
Let's do it.
All right, everyone. Sit back and join us as we look to diagnose the paranormal events of the 1910 Gila jail. Jason and I head back for night 2 of our Gila jail investigation. Except it's actually night 1 after we stop the live stream, but you don't know that because of YouTube cinematography and my sick editing skills. If you missed our last video, I don't know what you're doing, but this jail was built in 1910 to house criminals from Globe, Arizona, directly connected to a terrifying bridge of size to the town courthouse. This jail was open for action until 1981 when it was shut down after reports of poor conditions. Since that time, it has been an incredible paranormal hotspot. That terrifying bridge still on your mind? Yeah, mine too, which is exactly why we're going to put Jason up there to fend for himself later in this episode.
Not.
But don't let these happy daytime video clips fool you. Shit's about to get real scary. Like, really scary. Fast. So scary, in fact, that to lighten the mood of this episode, I'm going to show you this photo of my 2 dogs. Mood lightened? Good. Let's begin.
So the paralamp just went up basically to the max level with all the different levels. I think it's 5 or 6. While that was going, I got an SLS of a figure that was pretty consistent. It was moving around a little bit, but that figure was consistent. It's there again now.
Can you show me? Okay, I'm going to flip this back off.
Okay. Kind of bounces around right there.
But see, it's important that that laser grid's up and it's not always there, right? There's some,
Yeah.
we had a thought that perhaps,
See, that's where it likes to show up right there.
and that's in that,
It's in the shadow.
it's in the shadow.
There it is.
Whoa. I think that's significant that it's not in,
Look at that.
it's not on the grid, you
Yeah,
know?
look
It's,
at that.
it's not the grid, it's coming at us. We gotta get EVP. You good if we try an EVP?
Yeah.
Hello, my name is Chad. We see you there in the doorway. What is your name? Oh. Thank you for walking up to us. Please tell me your name. What inmate are you? What are you here for?
That was me.
It's okay. No, you're good. What year were you convicted? What message do you have for me? Wow, Jason.
The grid's picking.
It is. let's pause there real quick. Then I want to highlight a couple of pieces of equipment there. First of all, the paralamp, which does detect EMF. Then you had told us that there was some type of either cell tower or something out behind the jail that could give off electromagnetic field, at least if I recall correctly. So first of all, my question is to whether or not you typically see EMF devices go off when they shouldn't for what you attribute to be that cell tower.
Okay, two things. There is a cell tower. There is also a broadcast tower. There's I think it's a small radio station that's behind the jail, which does cause some issues. In the alleyway underneath the bridge's sides, there's also a large cabling, electrical cables that go across, which is creating an EM field. So that does sometimes cause problems, especially when there is a surge. But with EM, we had an actual power outage up there. We went around with meters to do an entire sweep of the jail. Where you see those lolly columns, they were hot. There was nothing else in the jail that was hot other than old cell, because again, that EM field was actually causing electrons to stay with the bars in that jail. So that jail is actually hot in that area, that cell. But there's no reason for the lolly columns to be hot. So in that area where you were actually picking up things, we get some activity in there. We can't find out why. Millimeter also does DC. We ran a millimeter up there. We used a the other unit, which I can't, the 100XE, I think it is, that picked up stuff too. So yes, could it be something going on there? We've tried to time it, times that we're there, see if there's anything that way. There is some type of EM activity inside the jail, whether it's something that is because it's all copper in the area. And here we have basically, this is reinforced iron that is into the ground where that might be producing an EM field. So yeah, could it cause some things? Yeah, the towers could cause that. Those electrical trunks can cause that. And the actual nature of that location, that area itself could be causing some EM. But when you are getting EM spikes on command, constantly on command, it's a little bit different.
It really is. And the timing, I'm glad you bring that up, because the timing of the multiple devices that we have throughout this episode and even our episode last week with part 1, the timing's remarkable, that it's usually not just one device that will trigger. Now, also, we saw the SLS figures come up. Now, in the first clip, we saw the Ghost Tube app that you have used. We're going to see a different SLS here coming up. So stay tuned for that. But with that Ghost Tube and the GS2 laser grid, we've had some people say that, hey, that laser grid will produce an SLS, but it's not consistent that it will produce an SLS figure. And it seemed to be that the timing of the SLS would coincide with the K2 spike, or as you mentioned, the lollipop meter, the paralamp. Is SLS something that you traditionally use in the jail on that first tank? And do you also capture figures?
We use it on our public events, but as far as our own investigations, we don't even give it the space in our case. I'm not a big fan on the SLS just because of the way they're actually designed. The point that you guys have and why it's important, evidence needs to support evidence. Still, everything you caught, is it paranormal? We don't really know. There's no way to actually tell. But having two different devices going off, plus the SLS actually picking up something in that vicinity, that's kind of interesting. And that's what it is, interesting. So, absolutely. I mean, the SLS, you have to use, you can't just rely on it. I've seen so many people walking around with it and it's picking up the side of a bookcase or a chair or a column. No, on its own merit, no. But when it's coinciding with other things that are going on, and just because of the location, if you were showing me this somewhere else and I've never been there, I just think it's interesting. But being that I've been in this jail for since 2010, I don't know how many, now we're up there 2-3 times a month.
Sure.
I'm very familiar with what goes on. So yeah, because where you are, yes, that was something of that is definitely concrete.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and continue with that theme of other items supporting that. And to tease this a little bit, coming up here, we did a little bit of an experiment to try to control for that SLS and that laser grid. We're going to show that to you here in just a few moments, but let's continue on with the investigation.
Still showing a figure on the left, and I'm at a different angle now.
Oh, I am too. Wow. Is that, and now it's gone. And you're showing it over there on the left as well?
Yeah, to the left of that pole.
Yeah.
I've been picking up one there most of the last half hour.
Come on out of that jail cell, please. You're welcome to come out. Jason, on cue. Thank you. Can you walk out towards the middle, please? Yeah, there you go. Did you just reach out and touch the device? Yeah, there you go. Can you reach out and touch some of the devices out there? Oh, there's two of you now. What? Dude, that's insane. Scream. And now my guys are gone. Yeah, there you go. Can you reach out and touch some of the devices out there? Oh, there's two of you now. What? Yeah, there you go. Can you reach out and touch some of the devices out there? Oh, there's two of you now. Dude, that's insane. Screaming. And now my guys are gone.
So let's go ahead and chat one more time about this. We'll make this one a little bit more brief with the pause. A second SLS machine, and I don't want to belabor that point, but we don't get many hits on that machine, and it did again coincide, evidence supporting evidence maybe. The scream to me was very interesting, Ben, and I want to get your take on this because the very first time I listened to that scream when reviewing the evidence, the timing of it was impeccable. But then when I went back and grabbed the scream, I realized that people wouldn't be able to hear it just with regular audio. So I amplified it. When I amplified it, it almost sounded like a cat. Now, the interesting thing was earlier in the investigation, we had heard cats fighting in that back alley, and it was very loud. Like, it terrified me. Whereas when I heard this, it didn't quite sound the same. I guess my question to you is, do you hear screams in the jail?
All the time. Yeah, there's a female that screams. I think she's trying to get our attention, almost where she wants to be the focal point, the center of attention. So you'll hear it coming from, if you're downstairs in a lower tank, you'll hear it from upstairs. Now, I was in the front of the building, in that front room, and I'm right by that front street where anybody walking by, even in the alley, there was nothing really going on out there. You do hear cat fights, but there wasn't any people. So that is an interesting catch, but that's the MO of that jail. Footsteps, bangs, and screams.
Yeah, and coming up, we have some excellent clips of just those things. Now, we didn't react to that scream in real time. Some of them we had, but that was certainly a notable one with the timing.
Yeah, and when we had the cats, you almost jumped out of the
the
tank.
I mean, the cats were notable. It really did startle me, and you could hear them going back and forth. Of course, we were up on the second floor, but I'm not certain that one was a cat, and certainly startled me. All right, well, our evidence capture is just heating up. Let's not stop the momentum.
So this is an SLS camera. It detects motions that are humanoid that we can't see with our eyes and maps them on an SLS grid. You can see that thing reaching out to the light, which there, where my finger is, that green light is fluctuating. That's reading electromagnetic field. And this laser grid sensor that's LED with red lights, it's mapping movement on that laser grid directly where this guy is. This guy's inverted, so actually it's reaching to the right there.
So is he touching the K2?
Yeah.
I think I've got some SLS to corroborate that.
This is just absolutely insane.
I think I may have a yellow card for some spelling errors there, but Jason, that the SLS again, I do want to point out, and I debated whether or not to jump on during this, the SLS figure, the vertical figure did align over a pole that is right in the middle of that hallway. However, the reason I still showed this as potential evidence is the reaching out of that figure directly over the top of the GS2 sensor and then over the K2, and both of which were going off at the same time. Again, the theme is the same, but I think a notable piece of evidence. One thing I failed to point out is at the beginning of our investigation, we put 2 IR cameras on the outside of these cells. So we were on the inner course of that, and we put them on the outside. One of the cameras didn't work at all. So even though we recorded, like, it didn't capture anything. And then there was the other one pointing on the outside. And we also had trail cams up on the second floor to try and cover everything as well. Yep. Let's bring on the queens here. They've been a little silent. Let's go ahead and add you guys on here. Let me unmute you. Maybe. There we go. Jamie, Ryan, and Sarah, you guys just saw some of our first set of evidence. Jamie, you're a skeptic. What do you think about what you just saw?
I don't know. Sorry.
She's too stunned in fear. That's dynamic, Jamie.
Sarah's been talking to me. I've been talking back. We weren't really paying attention.
Yeah.
Why?
I didn't see the light anomaly.
Yeah, I didn't either. That we were looking for that one.
Yeah, it was very quick. It was from right to left. And if I would have been able to have a circle to track it, I think I would have shown it. It was so quick. To me, it could very easily be dismissed as dust. But, I went through half an hour of that, and that's literally the only one that I saw, which is the reason that it stood out to me.
Wasn't dusty like the Whaley house there?
No, it wasn't as dusty as the Whaley house. That's for sure. The Whaley house was dusty.
Now, this place doesn't have modern HVAC, so there's not anything that would be stirring up dust. Now, it's one, anomaly.
Sure.
But, I can't think of something that would cause that.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's pivot just a bit. Now, Jamie and Sarah will kick you off into the stage, but guys, pay attention. I'm going to ask you these same questions.
Is that worthy of a yellow card?
Yeah, this is a recurrent theme on the show. Like, we're going to show things, and then we're going to ask you about those things. Like, it's a pretty simple formula, but you ladies go back to enjoy your wine. Jason, I wanted to set up a bit of an experiment, and we're going to show the experiment here briefly, and we can go ahead and talk over the top. I want to know 2 things. I want to know if that GS2 is going to go off on its own. So that's the laser grid. It's supposed to detect movement. Every time you see a red light, it's supposed to be a movement and a break in that field. And the second thing, I want to know if the ghost tube SLS will be triggered by the laser grid. We've had that question come up so many times. And so I tried to set it up right here in my office. Let me see if we can go ahead and play that. And we'll bring Vin on at the same time here as we play it and see. So this I ran. So obviously the GS2 laser grid pointed right in front, and this is just into my home office here. And this is running with the GhostTube SLS app. And this is going to run for a number of minutes. I actually had this going for 16 minutes. I sped it up. Now of note, you will see that on the left side of the screen, there is a window there. So it is kind of light in the morning. Let me pause that one and go back just a touch. And so some light was coming in, and I wonder if that's what triggered the sense and motion detection there. But of the entire 16 minutes, there was no SOS figure that was captured. Now, of course, this is not a perfect scientific control to the jail, and it's light. So I said, let me try and put this in a dark place and see whether or not we would get different activity. So I put it in my bathroom where it's very black. You can see the GS2 on the right side. Now you'll see a blue light that flashes up. There is a heating vent that is just under the sink where it's sitting on. So I think that's what's detecting there. But again, this one I ran for about 6 minutes. I just sped it up through here as we go. No SOS jumped up, which to me was shocking. You know, DGH skeptic Jamie Ryan, she has pointed out many times that the GS2 sensor will show an SOS figure, but nothing. This is not what I expected from the experiment.
Yeah, and it's got a lot of angles, because that's one thing we've thought about. If there's angles like on gears or corners, like that could be what the SOS is picking up. Here, there's plenty of those, and it's not picking up any figures.
Right. And the reason that I left my office a little bit of a mess, let me go back to this as we show this here. There is a stool right in front of the GS2. On the left side is the desk. You know, there's another start of the built-ins there, and then some structures of diplomas and such, and still nothing there. So, Vinny, let's bring you on this GS2 device. Is this something either you're familiar with this exact device or something similar? And what are your thoughts on what we've captured with it so far?
We don't have one. I've been on investigations where people have used it. As far as the SOS being triggered by this, the SOS, the wavelength is a lot different where this is actually at. But what will cause an SOS to go off are IR lights, because the unit's actually sending out IR. It's looking for depth. That's why it's trying to come up with the body. So if you have IR lights at different angles, sometimes that will cause a false positive on an SOS. But I have no real background with this product.
Now, that is such a good point, because the one control here that I didn't have in is IR. On the opposite side of the jail, pointed directly at this GS2, was our IR camera. Now, it went dead, and I think it's going to go dead in this next clip that I'm going to show everyone. But I didn't control for that in this experiment. So, Vinny, that's a great point, and perhaps that could be some of the reason why that GS2 is going off.
Well, this is based on a laser measurement. That's the background of this unit, correct?
Right.
So, I mean, you got to talk to some contractors that use this type of device for measuring to see if they had a lot of, misinformation. But
sure,
I have no background on this other than the SOS will be affected by IR lights.
Yeah. All right. Very good. Well, it's very good to be skeptical about these things, right? I mean, with the amount of activity, at least gadget-wise, that we had going off inside of there, that's why we do this. Yep. And that's our goal. So let's go ahead. We'll take this off. Now we're going to jump into the next part of our investigation, and we do introduce a new piece of equipment. We introduce a motion detector that Vin's group from the paranormal group, and we point it directly into a jail cell on the left side of the screen here. We're going to see some pretty good activity coming up. Let's show that now.
Did you hear that? I heard something. It sounded like a footstep. To me, it could have been. It's my stomach. All right, now, maybe come back out of that cell. Perfect. Can you come over and touch some of these devices here in the middle? You guys, that music box is pointed with a motion detector into that cell. Come on out. And that LED screen only marks movement on the laser grid. noise upstairs.
I heard it.
Yeah.
And I'm getting an SOS figure that corresponds with the
Corresponds with what?
the grid, where it's lighting up red.
Yes. Come on out of there.
And I'm getting an SOS figure that corresponds with the
Corresponds with what?
the grid, where it's lighting up red.
Yes. Come on out of there. Let's do this thing. Come say hi. Come on now. You got 10 seconds to be out here. All right, let's go. Let's play a game where if I guess where you come from, you make that motion detector go off, or you make the lamp go off. Let's say that you're from the future and you traveled here back in time. I'm in 2023. If you're in a year ahead of me, can you make your presence known? I understand if you can't show yourself, but that's part of the rules that we don't understand. Make that thing go to red that you're doing right now and hold it there at red if what I just said is accurate. You're a time traveler, and you're here. Okay, maybe that's not the case. Tell me you're from a different dimension that I don't live in, that I don't see. Okay? Tell me that you were a prisoner here, or an inmate, and you're stuck. I'm sorry you're stuck. Can you confirm it? Wow. Wow. Okay, I'm sorry that you're stuck. I know you can hear me. Can you see me? Is there a way that you are aware of that I can help you? Are you aware that you have died? Do you feel that you are still living? Yes.
And no SOS figure show up right as that.
Did you? So what we just gathered is that they are still living. They cannot see us, they can hear us, and that they're stuck here. Right?
I mean, that part, honestly, was a bit tough. Like, I remember that in real time, getting those responses back and feeling sad.
Mm-hmm.
That's tough. And
Yeah.
hopefully it was just the timing of things that worked out. But if that was truly a call and response session of someone who thinks they're alive, they're stuck there, and they're alone, I mean, that's pretty brutal. Vinny, that was your piece of equipment that you were very gracious enough to let us borrow during our investigation. Can you tell people a little bit about that motion sensor device?
That is an ultrasonic sensor. It detects motion. It doesn't use PIR, which you'll find a lot of the things out there. It's roughly a 160-degree opening. It's good for about 5 feet. You cannot put that in front of a wall because it's just going to bounce off the wall. But it doesn't respond to dust. We've tested PIR versus the ultrasonic. We did vape smoke. We did dust. We heated up water and tried to raise the humidity to see if that would cause things. The PIRs constantly would go off. The ultrasonic wouldn't go off unless there's physically something going on in front of it that it's picking up. So another thing is, I think the jail really likes it, whatever is there at that jail, because anytime we deploy it, it's constantly going off.
Yeah, that was really a tremendous piece that we had added. And I didn't show an up close shot of how it was directed. So it was pointed directly into an open jail cell that was perched up a little bit. So it was pointing almost at a 45-degree angle. And of course, on the other side, there is no wall. It's the other side of the bars. It was really creepy. I was very surprised on our surveillance footage on the outside that honestly, that in that moment, we didn't capture a shadow. I truly thought with everything else going off that we would have. Vinny, any merit that you take, or like when you see the questions that I asked and had a spirit make the motion detector go off, or at least the motion detector went off when I asked that specific set of questions and says that someone thinks they're alive, they're stuck there, they're alone. I mean, you've seen some things. Do you make anything of that?
Yeah, definitely. One of the things I do when I go there before any of the events or even before our own investigations, I sit up on the stairs and literally for a half hour, I just talk. Like when I go up next Saturday, I'm going to be talking about my medical episode this week. And I just kind of relate. I think the place is very open. There is someone they are not stuck there, but there's something that's kind of keeps drawing them back into it. We've had a lot of mediums come through. There's a lot of different entities there, but they aren't sometimes the same ones. There's a few. There's a John, there's a Robert. Kingsley and the girls, we don't think that they're coming in as frequent, but we do have a Robert and we have a John, which normally is there a lot. Upstairs in the women's tank, we do have a Jen, but they seem to be engaging spirits. They kind of enjoy the company to an extent. We've been doing, when we do our sessions, we have recorders in each one of those cells. And that's been coming up with a lot of different things. We're not catching it on our cameras. We're not catching it on our body mics. But in the cells, when we do events, when we review that, we're getting a lot of voices in those cells. So there's a very good possibility something was sitting in that cell, watching and listening to what you guys are doing and possibly interacting.
Wow. And again, that equipment is quite remarkable, and people are going to have the chance to be able to book their own investigation through the paranormal group and even a paranormal convention that Vinny's going to tell us about here coming up shortly. But I do want to bring on Jamie, Ryan, and Sarah. Let's see if they were paying attention to that segment. Jamie, come on. Full on believer at this point?
No. Look, I can see how having these different pieces of equipment seemingly going off at the same time, working together, one would think that there is something there. But to me, my whole perspective is these are all man-made pieces of equipment.
Yeah.
And so for me personally, it's just really hard to say, yeah, there's something there because I'm not seeing it. And I know that that's a hard ask for proof to see something, but that's kind of where I stand.
Well, coming up here, piece of evidence that everyone's going to see a little bit different because this time we move out to the bridge of size. But Jamie, I think that thing for you that you've always talked about is that true experience that you have not had. And we've discussed off camera that we do need to go back to this location. We need to take you two with us. And Jamie, I would love for you to experience inside of that cell, because what Ben describes is hearing the sounds, hearing the screams, hearing the footsteps. And when you get all this other stuff going on, it truly brings you into a bit of a different world that we're trying to show here, but it's just hard unless you're there in the moment.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Let's move on to our next segment. Now we go up to the Bridge of Sighs, and it is late. It is cold, but Jason was a trooper, and you said, hey, I want to go up there. And I said, if you go up there, let's have you close your eyes. Let's give you no sound perception. Let's have you do an Este session, which people love. You ready for it?
Yeah. Whatever happens, I'm blaming it on the cold and being tired.
All right, let's go ahead and take a watch. Out on the Bridge of Sighs, Jason, Este session. Are there any spirits here from the courthouse or from the jail that we can communicate with? Please come out and speak. What are your thoughts as you leave the courtroom over to the jail? What emotions do you have? What sentence did you receive?
Money?
Money? What about money would you like us to know? Did you steal money? Is that what led to your conviction? Do you have money hidden? Did you mine for money? Who are you?
Whoa.
Is it pretty wild that we're up here talking to you on the bridge? We know that a couple of people jumped off this bridge rather than serve their sentence.
Just go.
Just go where? Off the bridge? Or just go away? My GoPro device? Did you turn off my device?
Not.
Yeah, someone did. I think it was you. I definitely think it was you. I've been trying to record my friend Jason here. Do you not want to be recorded? Do you not want to be on film?
Whoa.
Yeah, pretty wild.
Never.
Never? All right, despite having 40% battery life, we've had my GoPro shut off twice. I asked if the spirits did it and they said never, but I think that's not the case. Tell me your name, you trickster. We've encountered entities like you before, taking the power out of our equipment. Can you tell me your name? Okay, we're gonna stop soon because it's cold out here. Any final messages that you have?
Next to go.
Who's the next to go? Are you? Last chance. You want to tell us who you are? Tell us your story? All right. Thank you. Yeah, see, Jason, 38%. This battery? Yeah, right after your Este session, 38%. What do we got in there? Okay. Now, the first thing everyone's going to jump to, or at least the first thing that should be on your mind, is that the outside temperature was cold and perhaps that could have shut off the GoPro. It may have been colder inside the jail. It was not warm inside of there. The timing, when I asked about being on camera and then you say, whoa, never. I did not edit it. Like there was no time that lapsed for the GoPro to shut off that I just cut down for people to see. Like it shut off in that moment, which was pretty creepy.
Yeah, and it was cold, but when you run the GoPros, for those of you that have it, it heats up as you run it. So it's kind of got its source of heat.
That's
So
cool.
it might have been that, but then again, you know, it kind of keeps itself warm if you're running it.
Yeah. Did you feel anything odd or special when you were out there?
Cold.
Yeah. Usually you're more the vocal type as opposed to feeling things. For those of you who haven't seen, this would be a good time to remind you that we are on social media platforms, including TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. I uploaded a little treat for everyone, little mixtape of you singing. Combine that for anyone who needs a good laugh. Make sure to go check.
I haven't been to see the tour, but apparently I'm singing it. So.
Yeah, you are, buddy. So as you know, all kidding aside with this, we've got our 3 pieces from the investigation. And I want to have Vinny, I want Jamie and Sarah to start thinking about their diagnosis. And Jason, you as well. We're going to bring them on and talk about that. But as we do that, I want everyone to know we still have a viewer clip coming up that so far I think is the most exciting and interesting paranormal footage that we've had from any viewer submission so far. So we've got that coming right up. But Jason, let's go ahead and jump into some diagnoses. Vin, we're going to bring you back on the stage. Jamie, Ryan, and Sarah, we're going to bring you on as well. Jamie, let's start with you. You've seen our footage here, edited up of our part 2 investigation. Give me a diagnosis. What do you got for the place?
Yeah, I don't know. It might be one of those things that I just have to be there to feel it, like you were saying.
Sure.
Hear it in person, but just by watching videos of it, it's really hard to say like that I believe that it is haunted or that there's something there.
No, it definitely is tricky. And, you know, just with that being said, you do have to be there for it sometimes to feel it. Sarah, you got a thought on diagnosis?
It's definitely haunted by a mannequin.
Now, Sarah, sometimes when we go to locations, you say that you have some feeling to a certain degree. I asked you during the live stream about one particular area if you had a feeling, and you said no. Did you get any feelings when you were watching the live stream or just watching now?
No, but I mean, I think that if I'm going to have a feeling, I need to be there. So I don't think that's a fair question. I want to be clear that I'm not saying that like people who have experiences there are wrong. I'm just saying I have not been there. I don't have feelings through the camera, through the internet, and that the mannequin's creepy.
Yeah. All right. Very good. Jason, I'm going to turn to you. Dr. Jason, diagnosis of the 1910 Gila jail.
You know, so there's some evidence. It's very clear. You get a picture of a shadow, you get an EVP, like you don't have to be there and you can still say, yeah, that's evidence here. I think actually being there, seeing all that going off at the same time, you know, evidence on evidence, I think is the term we've used. It definitely makes me lean towards the haunted diagnosis here.
Yeah, for sure. Vin, this is part of your home and you've been great enough to manage over it. You form community so people like ourselves can come in and investigate. I think I know what your answer is going to be, but what's your take as a big picture over on the jail? Do you feel that the place is haunted?
Obviously, I'm jaded, but because of all the experiences I've accumulated over the years, I have to say that there is definitely something there.
Yeah.
Just no doubts in my mind. We get intelligent responses. You guys bought a light panel, right? From me? The reflective panel?
Yes.
Okay. Last time we were there a couple of weeks ago, we had a light panel in position. We were not using cameras because that's an IR panel. We had all cameras off, just recorders, and we're asking, can you please come by the panel? So we got some of the lights light up. So we're like, okay, we want you to do all the outside lights. All 4 outside lights go on. Then we said, we want you to do the on the left side. The 2 left side went on. We want you to do the right side. The 2 right side went on. Unfortunately, we have it on audio where we're saying, oh my God, it did it. But I think they don't like cameras as much, or there's certain spirits that don't like cameras, because we seem to be getting a lot more interaction, like very intelligent interaction, when they don't have cameras there. I don't think they understand that we have a recorder running because they don't know it, but they can see a camera on a tripod with a light. So I think we're getting more because we're baiting it just with the using recorders. So we're going to continue to do that stuff. But those type of experiences, the actual names being called, I mean, my name's been called there a dozen times, EVPs on GhostTube, on Necrophonic, on all different apps, all different devices. So there is something that understands who I am and kind of relates to me. I used to walk in, I would get, you guys heard hollow bangs, like somebody banging on the side of the cell, not metal to metal, but like somebody slamming their fist against the wall. I used to walk in there and go, hey, I'm here, it's Vinny. Boom. Why would that happen? Okay, maybe there's a rat in there. What did it do? Commit suicide and ran into a wall. So there has been actual intelligent interactions in there over the years. So because I'm there, yes, there's a lot of activity there.
Yeah. You know, this is interesting. Vinny, you and I have not talked about the coincidence, we'll call it for now, for lack of a better term, of spirits not showing themselves when a camera is on. I have spoken with Jason about that countless times, that I believe that there is something to that. We have a mill that's out here. I'm not too far from Salt Lake City where we live. And every time that we go to this mill, which is kind of our hot spot for investigations, if our cameras are off, we'll have things, we'll have our equipment go off. We'll hear things. The second that the cameras come back on, it'll go quiet. And then we will even get direct responses when everything is quiet. We say, do you want us to turn off the cameras? And we'll either get a yes that comes through on a spirit box, or get something that goes off. We go shut off the camera and all the activity comes on. So I do believe there's something to that. Now, of course, skeptics would, Jamie probably laughs at that, because they say, well, of course, you're not going to capture anything if there's nothing there. So there's two sides to that story, but I firmly believe in what you said. And it's just interesting you bring that up without us having previous conversation there. My diagnosis of the place, I truly feel that this is one of the more active places that we have been. It may be hard for me to represent through video. I hope that's not the case. I hope everyone got to experience that kind of fear and not knowing what's going to happen next, because that's what we felt. But truly, that was one of the most active places. And I feel the diagnosis is certainly haunted, for sure.
We'll come back, because the more you're there, the more interaction you get. It really is.
Yeah, we certainly can't wait to go back. And let's transition just a little bit. Speaking of going back, now, Vinny, you not only hosted us there, but also with your group, the paranormal group. You guys sell equipment that we talked about that we did purchase after we met with you. That's how much we trusted it. But also, you're putting on a Paracon coming up here next month. And I would love for you to tell people about the Ghost of Globe Paracon.
Sure. This is our third Paracon. All the monies that we collect supports the Globe Main Street program. This group, they maintain all these buildings. There's an actual 6-block radius that is actually completely historic. But these people, the jail, the 1906 courthouse, the 1916 train depot, these are all maintained by this entity, and we're doing our best to keep it going. Everybody who talks about Arizona, what's haunted in Arizona? Tombstone, Jerome, Bisbee. Nobody knows about these towns. These are actual gems. There are so many different things. Every mining town, these small mining towns, have such a rich history. The beauty of it, this town and the people in it, they respect it and they're holding on to it. So we want to do everything we can. The Paracon we have, it's a 2-day Paracon. We have one of our main headliners is Patty Negri. She's coming out. She's going to do some workshops. She's speaking for us. She's going to do some seances. We're running 6 different ghost hunts at different locations in the evening of Saturday, also a couple on Friday. But we're hoping to raise $5,000 for the Globe Main Street program. That's our goal this year.
I like that a lot. And I will have to say, maybe even one suggestion for the website for people who have scheduling conflicts like Jason and myself, who would love to be there this year. Even if you have a spot of a little GoFundMe or a place where we can contribute to that, that was certainly something I was looking for earlier today. But I can't tell people enough about these locations that we've been to. this is a hot spot. And I was thinking to myself earlier, and I even mentioned this to Sarah, Vinny, I think if Globe had a movie after it, similar to Tombstone, I do think it would be a more popular destination than Tombstone.
Yeah.
Certainly
Well,
for the
we
paranormal.
do have a production arm that we're working on. It's just trying to get everybody together. I'm retired from the post office, so I do have the free time to go about doing it, but we have to get everybody together. A lot of times it's weekends. Most of the historians up there, they want their weekends to themselves, so they're not around. And if you go up there during the week, they're done by 2:00, so you have to really be up there very early. But it is a fantastic town. They definitely embrace their history, which is really good. History it's all what it's about. But our Paracons, as well as our events, if anybody ever does want to come out to Arizona, we do work with 9 different locations. We just picked up a new one. It's a 1910 Elks Lodge, and the basement was a mortuary. So that just came online the end of last year, and we investigated a couple times as a team. We're going to start putting that onto our program. But come out here, spend 3 or 4 days. There's some pretty good accommodations up in the area. Everything is within 15-minute drive, the worst case scenario. Most of them are next door to each other.
Yeah.
So please contact us. Come on up. Also, anybody, we gave Dr. Ghost Hunters an actual code for our website to get discounts on equipment. So anytime you guys want to pick up on something, please give them a shout, and they'll be glad to share that with you. That coupon's good forever. So whenever you want to pick up something, go right ahead.
Yeah, we very much appreciate that. That promo code is DGH, and their equipment really is top of the line. Of course, I mentioned that we came home and purchased it, and very reasonably priced even before the discount. Yeah, the town is
a lot of things we have to sell at a specific rate, yes, but this is our way to fund what we do. This helps offset, $50 in gas, and you guys, spent hotel rooms. So you can see that investigating batteries, it really starts getting up, or you drop a $600 camera and you got to get a new one. So yeah, this helps offset our funds. But I just want to say, these guys, they came out. I was very impressed with the way they conducted their investigations. I think they're top notch, and I can see that, the people that come on and watch, they do understand that. So congratulations, guys. You do great work.
Well, thank you very much, Vinny. We appreciate it. We appreciate you being on, and we hope that everyone goes and joins you for the Ghost of Globe Paracon.
Yeah, please do.
Okay. Take care.
Bye now, guys.
Bye. All right. Well, we are still just getting started here. Coming up here shortly, Jason, we have one of the best viewer submission clips of just a truly abnormal paranormal scene. Everyone's going to see that here in just a minute. A few other housekeeping measures. However, we want to tell everyone that if you have not done so already, subscribe to the channel, turn on all the notifications so that you can be a part of our next live stream event. We have one coming up that we announced last time, Jason. You mentioned that we are going back to Petite Neat at the end of March, Saturday, March 30th. 10 p.m. Eastern time, we are going to be returning here. Petite Neat, ring a bell? Can't quite place it. That's where we encountered one of the most haunted objects that we believe exists in Utah. There is a purple heart inside of there that, through our research, we believe we have identified. We want to go back and try and make communication with this spirit. If you have recommendations on how you would like us to approach this investigation, questions you would like us to ask the recipient of the Purple Heart, please drop it in the comments below, and we'd be happy to incorporate you. And we want you to join us there on that investigation too. All right. So before we get to the viewer footage clip, yellow cards, Jamie, Sarah, how are we looking? Let's pull them up. Well, there's two.
There were two.
Ladies, any yellow cards to report for this? Of course, as we talked about last time, any mishaps, anything that may skew some of the evidence that we show or anything that we mishap on, we'll go ahead and give a yellow card. Jamie, we got anything?
Well, we didn't see the light anomaly, so Sarah yellow carded you for that one. Also, there was a typo somewhere.
Spelling errors.
So that might be 2 yellow cards for you, Chad.
Yeah.
Well, we'll go with one.
Before you get a red card. I don't know soccer stuff that well.
And unfortunately, it looks like the Paranormal Queens are breaking up on their internet feed and they are gone. All right. So let's set the stage. Let's go ahead and regroup here.
Yeah.
Next, we are going to show you a viewer submission of a paranormal clip. If you have one at home that you want us to feature, you want us to evaluate, or you just want to show the world, this is your platform. This is your community. Send it to our email, drghosthunterslc@gmail.com. You can find us on any of our social media clips. We would love to feature yours. However, this one comes from a paranormal group right here in our own backyard, Broken Wings Paranormal. You can find full investigations on YouTube. They put out excellent videos. They put out frequent videos, led by multiple people in their group, but someone in particular you and I have interacted with named Steve on some of the group investigations we have been on in years past. He has been there. He has always been more than inviting to us, has been very kind to us, and they submitted this clip. Now there's a whole lot going on here.
Yeah.
The one thing in particular I want people to focus on is a ball of light. We got about 4 minutes of this clip. Let's go ahead and watch.
Why are you being so secretive? Go up. Where do you want us to go up to? Something add to your... I mean, we can't go up here. It's too high. We're short. We're too short. There's no ladder. What? Can you bring it? Help? Can you bring us a ladder?
Yeah, bring us. You do that.
Ed. Pretty sure I've heard Ed a few times, but I usually we get Ed a lot, and I always wonder if they're trying to.
Did you hear the door?
No, I did. I heard something, but that was the door.
That was the door.
Wait, what the hell happened? We're getting nothing. That was like 15 seconds of silence. Okay, I'm not digging it now, all of a sudden.
Something else here.
I'm not digging it all of a sudden. I'm
moving away from the door so we can record. Was that a bark in your box? Did you hear that?
Look at this. There's nothing here. I am not shitting here.
Spirit. Okay, I'm starting at the. No, I'm getting the same vibe. And the door.
Door creak. And it hasn't moved a smidgen the entire time we've been here. And now all of a sudden, it's on the floor and you can't shut it.
That's what I think. The door just moved and then your box didn't work and then.
Okay, real quick. I just want to make note. Show that door won't close. Go to the side so I can. There you go, like right there. So as you can see in the camera, the door is completely on the floor, but something definitely creaked that door. It will not close. It won't possibly close. It can't. Evil.
Okay.
Okay, we just got evil.
And I felt.
Holy shit! It's like this. The energy
surrounding us.
in this entire place just shifted to not nice. I almost feel like I'm on episode.
Okay, why are you coming at us?
What? Yeah. Did we say something wrong? What the? Did you see that light? We just need Ash Williams here.
Okay, 1 second, mother. Okay, shut this light up.
Who is here? And we're getting some really nasty responses all of a sudden. Oh my god, that was straight up your name. Oh my god. Did you hear it?
Hi. Okay, I know you want to talk to me. I'm starting to get emotional now. And I don't usually.
So how about that?
That's crazy. At first I was thinking it might be a bug, but when it shut off all of a sudden, I mean, that's UAP style, but obviously it's not a UAP there.
Right. And it really is incredible. Steve joins us here in the chat. Steve, you're the one who caught that. I'm really curious. There was one point during the video, and if you can comment on this in real time here in the chat, that'd be great, that you said, did you see that light? Is that the light that we were seeing? Like, did you actually see that with your eyes? And perhaps as you comment on that, Jason, I told this to you. We know that we were muted. We just wanted you guys to see kind of our reactions here. I've seen that with my own eyes. I saw that at Benson Grist Mill floating down the stairs, that really bright orb, and then it just disappeared. So we were walking upstairs 90 degrees to the left. We turned just real quick, and that's what I saw and was gone.
Yeah.
It's that.
And a bug, while it will reflect like that in a camera, it won't do that when you're seeing it live.
No.
So
Right.
the fact that you saw it says that there's probably not a bug.
Right. It's truly a remarkable piece. I love that. And again, if anyone there at home has a piece of evidence, no matter how big, how small, of course, Broken Wings has an excellent production. They have everything typed out. Yours doesn't have to be that, but we would love to show your piece of evidence. Email it to us, drghosthunterslc@gmail.com, or reach out to us on any of our social medias. Again, we thank Broken Wings Paranormal for their clip. Steve, thanks for submitting that. You can see all of their socials down at the bottom of the page. Please go over, subscribe to them. Thank them for coming on. We want to embrace the community of the paranormal.
Yep.
So to finish up here, Jason, let's go ahead and close up with just a few items here. As a reminder for everyone, please go check out our social medias as well, where we will post shorts and different footage that you're not going to see here on our paranormal experience. We're on Facebook. We're definitely on Instagram and TikTok. And then, of course, YouTube shorts as well. You can go check us out, Dr. Ghost Hunters. All right, let's bring the ladies back in here. Ladies, welcome. I'm glad you guys are both here and in your seats. Before we head out, Jamie, Sarah, you guys, any additional comments that you wish to make on this paranormal experience?
You are trying so hard not to say with that being said.
I was.
Ruining it for all of us.
Got to keep you on your toes, honey. You guys want to know what makes a marriage last? It's exactly that. Jamie, anything else you have to add?
No.
All right, you guys have done a wonderful job answering everyone's questions in the chat. Ladies, we'll see you.
And very good on the yellow cards.
Very good on the yellow cards. Maybe you just want to be tied up. All right, so as we wrap up this investigation into the paranormal, don't forget your two favorite doctors of the paranormal here. That's Dr. Jason. I'm Dr. Chad. Please be sure to subscribe, turn on all of your notifications. We're going to try really hard to have another episode for you next week as we continue to break down this footage that we have. Yep. We have a whole slew of paranormal investigations lined up for this spring and summer, new locations, some terrifying locations as well that we're excited for. And before we conclude, we've got Miss Sarah to come back with one more item. Jason, how did I forget? We've got a mug to give away.
We do.
Rosy Cheek Sarah, who's the winner of our Dr. Ghost Hunters mug? Of course, on one side here with our socials. The other side, you're not going to be able to see. It features our green logo, but of course, mixed with the green background here, you just won't be able to see it. So this is for anyone who joined us live and put questions in the chat. Of course, if you didn't watch it live, that's okay. Still put comments in the section. We love reading through those, and we'll go back through those as well. But Sarah, do you have a winner?
Yeah.
Who do we got?
Elsie.
All right,
Yay.
Elsie, very good. Elsie, of course, the owner of Bethany's Home Sweet Haunted Home. We investigated her haunted VRBO that you, no, not the person behind you, can actually go rent and stay at in Jackson, California, just about an hour away of Sacramento. Elsie, congratulations on your mug. We'll get that shipped out to you. Reach out to us on any of our social medias or at drghosthunterslc@gmail.com. Send me over your address and I'll get that out in the mail.
Yep.
All right. Very good. Jason, how'd you feel about this?
It was a good investigation.
I think it was.
Again, it's one of those that I think you had to be there to get the full experience, but I think it was good. It had a lot of evidence on evidence, if we want to call it that. So
Yeah.
it was a little different experience than a lot of the investigations, but
I think so too. And the one question I have in my mind for all the viewers out there, I want to know what you think of these paranormal experiences. Of course, this is season 2. We're not even a year in to Dr. Ghost Hunters. Obviously, in this season, if you've been following along, we've paired a live paranormal investigation with this paranormal experience, trying to bring together community, bring you, bring in other groups as well. What do you think about this format? Go ahead and leave a comment below, because as we look to continue this, and this train just getting started here, we want to know what you like best. Sarah's thinking, oh God, this is going to continue. All right. For everyone, that's Dr. Jason. I'm Dr. Chad. Those are the
one
queens
last
of the
thing.
paranormal.
We need to thank the Detroit Lions again. If you have ideas for Chad's special investigation at the penitentiary, let us know. Any ideas, we're happy to take those. So
tell the people where we're going. It's supposed to be a hype. They don't know.
Oh, okay.
It's going to be your second yellow. All right, everyone. Take care. Jason, we could go to Globe, or we could go to Lordsburg.